Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as my friends over at Yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to do the Pinwheel Crochet Shawl. This is a 3-page pattern and it's considered intermediate, and I would totally agree with that level as well. This is one that you do not want to be cooking or cleaning or taking care of anybody. You want to have some you time and concentrate into this particular pattern. This shawl is one of the nicest ones I've seen come out of Yarnspirations in a long time. So I'm really quite excited. I'm not saying none of their stuff is great. I'm just saying that the detail on the actual pinwheels itself is absolutely just fantastic, and when you get working on this I hope that you feel the same way. So what we're going to do is that we have a diagram, and let me tell you a little bit about that. So on page number 3 there is a diagram, and it's actually kind of smaller. So what I've done on the Crochet Crowd is that under the same pattern name is that I've done a blown up version for a whole page size so that you don't have to squint so much. So if you want to download that you can do so, and it's a lot easier to be able to follow. Today's pattern requires you to use a Patons Grace yarn. Love this yarn. This is a mercerized cotton, so this is one of those ones that I think are just absolutely spectacular, especially in this size. It's recommending a size F hook, a 3.75 millimeter crochet hook, but if you can't find that I did substitute and use a 3.5 millimeter if you wish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the actual sample, and then I'll show you the diagram, and then we'll show you how to do all of the steps. So what we're going to be doing, just as a full disclaimer, is that I'm only going to show you how to do the square. Once you've done the square you just have to whip stitch them together and do one complete border of one single crochet equally spaced all the way around. So the hard work really is in the square. It's not in the border or whip stitching, and of course there's tutorials available to be able to whip stitch as well. So let me show you what the actual square looks like, and then you can make a decision if this is the way you want to play today. So here's my tutorial squares. I did this actually on an airplane, so it was actually something I was able to handle. Still have my food services. Of course you never turn down complimentary drinks or the cheap snack that they give you. So here is my sample, and you can see from a distance these petals that are going out. Aren't they fantastic? Now I can see this better on the camera than I can actually in person. That's because I'm just emotionally too close to this thing. So I have many samples here, and here's the green, and I just had fun with these colors, and here is the yellow, and I just think it turned out really quite awesome. So you're going to notice that there's a repetition in this pattern. So let me just get you the pink one, and then we'll talk a little bit about that and then bring you back to the diagram to show you how it all puzzles together and makes all your crochet dreams come true. So here's what the pink one looks like. So you're going to notice that there's a rotation going on in this pattern. Really quite simple to follow. I'm actually really quite shocked on how easy it was to follow, and what you have to just pay attention to is exactly where the stitches go. I know that's my Sherlock Holmes trying to solve it all for you right now. So most of this is a repetition. So you're gonna count how many petals. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So there's 8 repetitions going on. So what you're going to do is that you're going to notice that the changes in round number 9, and in round number 9 I'm going to show you this on the pattern. It just changes so that we convert this circle then into a square. So right in round number 9 you can see that it takes a different position here, it grows out here, and then back in. So every other between the petals kind of changes in order to get this to be back square. At the end of your project you're going to want to wet block it, so just damp it out, lay it down flat, and then this will take its shape that it needs to, and then at the very end you'll just whip stitch. So use the same color. So if the colors that you're using, use at least one of the colors that is joining to each other. And of course if you want to use different colors of yarns for different squares, I'd recommend it too, because you'll see the sample looks amazing, and you saw the other stuff that I just did with the colors. So you can have a lot of fun with the colors. So let me take you to the diagram. Let's show you a little bit of that and really wrap your mind around this. So this here is a blown up version of what is in the diagram, and I told you that you can get this blown up version on the crochetcrowd.com. Just come over to our website and just download the PDF, and then it's all blown out for you. So you're going to notice that it's 8 petals, and if you look carefully you can really kind of see these petals going on, and so it's just repetition. So it's up to me to get you started and then tell you to repeat the step and then do it over and over in order to get all 8 done. So where it changes, I told you it was on round number 9. So round number 9 we just start telling a different story, and we start converting our circle into a square. So this set of instructions is different from here. I think one thing that I did notice is that when I was working this step, sometimes I was forgetting that I wasn't over there. So it's just something that you just have to pay attention to, and this is where life gets a little dicey, if you know what I'm saying, and that's when the stewardess needs to walk by and offer you like a complimentary alcoholic beverage. So it's actually not a hard pattern. It's just a matter of putting in the legwork in order to do it, and what you have to really pay attention to is exactly where these double crochets are going into. So let me zoom in and show you those. So when you really zoom in here, you can see that everything is kind of growing out. So in round number 2, you're chaining up 3 and there's 2 into the same space, and then what you notice in round number 3, when you get there, you're chaining up 3 and then there's 1 in each of these double crochets and then 1 in the space. Round number 4, 1 chaining 3 there, and then you see how it's going across. So one time it was 1 double crochet in 1 space, this time it's 2, okay, and then the next time it's 2 again, and then the next time it's 2 again, and then the next time it's only 1, and the next time it's 2. So what you have to pay attention to is these chain 2 spaces. So when we get there, you'll notice that we're skipping over 2 stitches here, we're skipping over a chain and a stitch here. And look at this one. This is the one that'll really throw you for a loop. It's not hard though, like trust me, just stick with me folks. So you're gonna chain 2 and you're only gonna skip 1 and then bring it back in balance. It works out beautifully when you go to do this example, and then you're back, then you see here skipping 1 chain and 1 double crochet. So it's really not hard. It's just a matter of paying attention to your spacing right here and how many that you're putting in the chains as you're progressing to the next round. So let's grab our crochet hook. It's a 3.5 or 3.75 millimeter crochet hook. I'm using a 3.5 today, or it's a size F if you're in the US, and we're using our Patons Gray. So let's do magic with our yarn today. So let's begin. Okay, so let's begin to make the magic. We're gonna start off with the slip knot. This is an intermediate pattern folks, so if you're really new to crochet, this may be a real struggle for you there as well. So let's begin, and we're going to start off with a slip knot and chaining of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I want you to insert the hook into the beginning chain and yarning over and pulling it through and through to form the center ring. Now when you go around the next round, I want you to lay down the straggler around the center of the ring so that it gets stuck underneath. So let's move along now to round number 1. So round number 1, we're going to establish our 8 petals. We need to get those started. So let's chain up 3, which counts as a double crochet. Listen folks, when it says chain 3 at the beginning of a round, that means it's considered as a double crochet. I'll probably tell you each time anyway, but that's what it is. So let's chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and there's your first double crochet, and then you're gonna double crochet 1 more time, going right into the center of the ring. Okay, so now you're going to chain 1, and in the center of the ring again, make sure the straggler's part of it, and you're going to put in 2 double crochets in a row. Then you're going to chain 1 and then another 2 double crochets in a row. So here's the secret, if there is a secret. Here's what you need to know. I need you to keep going around in this fashion so that you have 8 groups of 2 double crochets that are together, and then I'll see you at the end of this round. So because this is intermediate, I think you know what you're doing, so I'm gonna leave that to you. So please get these 8 groups of 2 double crochets done. Make sure that there is a chain 1 that separates them. So I'm back and I have my 8 groups of 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then make sure you chain 1 first and then join it to the top of the first chaining of 3 that you started with to join it with a slip stitch. So now we're ready to move on to round number 2. Round number 2 is the only round at this moment that you need to worry about moving yourself over. So where you are right now, you cannot start there. So I need you to insert into the top of the next double crochet and pull through and through with the slip stitch, and insert into the chain 1 space and do the same. So insert, pull through and through. So you have just now positioned yourself over a chain 1 space, and in this particular case this is where you need to be. Chain up 3 counts as a double crochet, and then 2 double crochets into the same chain 1 space. I'm gonna tell you something that's gonna blow your mind in just a moment. I want you to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and you're going to go to the next chain 1 space. How many stitches are you gonna put in? you're gonna put in 3, right? So you got a double crochet here, which is the chain 3, and 2 more, so there's 3. So this round is easy to remember because when you get 3 double crochets done, you need to chain 3 in order to advance to the next chain 1 space. So there's 3 double crochets, chain 3, and then go to the next chain 1 space and do 3 more double crochets. So please do that all the way around. You should have 8 groups of 3 double crochets separated by chain 3s. So continue that for round number 2. So I'm coming all the way back around. There should be 8 groups of 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Don't forget to chain 3 and then just join it to the top of the first chain 3 to conclude off round number 2. Easy peasy, right? So let's move on to round number 3. So round number 3, we're starting exactly where we finished, right on the top, and we're gonna chain 3, counts as a double crochet. I promised you I would probably say that. And you're gonna double crochet in the next 2. But you're not quite done. There's more, folks. 2 easy payments of $19.95. So we're gonna have to double crochet 1 time in the chain 3 space. Okay, so that is 1 of your petals. So you're gonna chain 3, so 1, 2, 3, and jump immediately to the first double crochet again. So you're gonna double crochet in each one of the double crochets. So there's a total of 3 of those. So 1, 2, and 3, and you're gonna double crochet then in the chain 3 space 1 time. Okay, then chain 3 and start in the first one and double crochet in each one of those, and then 1 time in the chain 1 space. Please do that all the way around for round number 3. When you get all the way back around, don't forget to get your last one in that chain 3 space, chain 3, and then just join it to the top of the first chain 3 to complete. That was round number 3. So it's looking pretty easy, right? So now let's go on to round number 4. So round number 4 is the final time that this appears solid before we start dividing off to make the middle of the petal. So we're going to chain up 3. So 1, 2, and 3 counts as a double crochet. I want you to double crochet in each one of the double crochets that are there. So with that chaining of 3 and these 3, that gives you a total of 4. And then in the chain 3 space, I want you to put in 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2. Don't worry about going into the actual chain itself. Go into the space. It's just easier. And then I need you to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I want you to repeat that all the way around for number 4. So each one of the double crochets are gonna get 1 double crochet, and in the chain 3 space put 2 more double crochets, then chain 4, and then begin again. Please do that all the way around for round number 4. Coming all the way back around, don't forget to chain that 4 to begin to join it to the top of the first chain 3. So I think I'm gonna bring you back to the diagram. Let's show you where you are, because now we're gonna start dividing off into the petal sections. So here in the diagram we're about to do round number 5. So we're gonna chain up 3, and then the next 2 are double crochets. We chain 2, skip 2, and we double crochet in the last one here, and then 2 more into the chain 4 space. After we get that done, we chain up 4 and do the same thing. So now we're focusing on getting these spaces that you see in order to continue this. So let's begin round number 5. Let's begin round number 5. You're gonna chain 3, counts as a double crochet, and I want you to double crochet the next 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2. Then I want you to chain 2, skip 2, and you're gonna end up in the last one. So I want you to double crochet in that last double crochet there after you've skipped those 2, and then in the chain 4 space I want you to put in 2 more double crochets. So your goal at this point is that when you're finishing off each of these petals, you're getting 3 before it, you're getting the spacing of 2, and then 3. Then you chain 4 and begin all over again. So the first 3 in a row we each be a double crochet. So 1, 2, and 3, followed by chain 2, skip 2, you're gonna, when you skip to 2 you'll be in the last one here, double crochet that one plus the next chain 4 space, you want to put 2 more in there, and then chain 4 and begin that all over again. So please do that with each, and you can see that the petal is dividing off right in the center. Please do that, and I'll see you at the end of this round. When you get all the way back around, don't forget to put those 2 double crochets in that chain 4 space and then make another chain 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then just join it to the top of the first chain 3 that you started with, like so. So now you can see the petals have just did their divide right in the center of each one of those, and let's begin then round number 6. So let's begin round number 6. We're gonna chain 3 counts as a double crochet, and then we're gonna put a double crochet in each of the next 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. So you have a total how many double crochets at this point? You have the chain 3, you have 2 more. I want you to put another double crochet in the next chain 2 space. So, and then I want you to chain 2. So here I want you to skip the next chain. So there's 2 chains, so skip the next chain and the next double crochet, and double crochet then beginning the second double crochet over. So do that one and do its friend next door, and in the chain 4 space I want you to put in 2 double crochets. So here is the easiest thing that the designer has done for you. The group, remember there was 3 on either side of this center line. Now there's 4, and so if you can remember that, it's easy. So to start the next round you have to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, coming into the first double crochet to begin. So we have 1, let me retry that. So we have 1, and the goal is to get 4, right? So 1, and then you're in the next double crochet for 2, next double crochet for 3, and then the chain 2 space, which is next, it's gonna have 1, then you chain 2, 1 and 2, so you skip the next chain and the next double crochet, so double crochet the second double crochet over, so 1, and then its friend, and then 2 into the chain 4 space, 1 and 2, and there is your 4 again. So then chain 5 and then repeat going all the way around. So please do that, and I'll see you at the end of round number 6. So once you get that all the way around, don't forget to chain your 5 to then join it to the beginning chain 3. So that was it. So let's continue then into round number 7. So let's begin. So remember in round number 6 is that we had 4 in a row, and then we had 4 in a row, and we had a chain 2 space that separates them. So in round number 7 we're gonna go to 5 this time. So we're gonna chain up 3, counts as a double crochet, and you're gonna double crochet in each of the double crochets that are available. So 1, 2, 3, and the next one, the 4th one, which gives you a total of 5 if you're looking at it, will be right into the chain 1 space. So here's the one that I said that may throw you off. You still have to chain 2, but what you're going to do is just skip this chain 1 space only, and then double crochet starting in the next double crochet. That's the only one here that may throw you off. Okay, so it's keeping the spacing nice and consistent. So you're gonna double crochet into each of the double crochets that you see, plus you're going to add 1 double crochet into the chain 5 space. Okay, so you got your 5 that you started, you have your chain 2, but you technically only skipped 1 stitch, and then you went all the way around like so. So then you got 5 in a row, and then you're gonna chain a total here of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then just immediately start again. So you're gonna double crochet in each of the double crochets, 1 into the chain 1 space, chain 2, and then immediately start in the next double crochet, do those 4 plus 1 into the chain 5 space, and then chain 5 and do that all over again. Please do that all the way around for round number 7. So I'm coming all the way around on number 7, and I just have my chain 5, and I am just joining it to the top of the first chain 3. So let's begin round number 8. So last time we had 5 and then 5. So this time in round number 8 we're gonna expand once again, so we're looking for the number 6. So chain up 3, and you're gonna double crochet in each one of these double crochets that you see. So it's 1 into each. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and with that chaining of 3 that you started with, you got a total of 5, but I told you you need 6. So in the chain 2 space, put a double crochet in, chain 2, skip the next chain 1 space and the next double crochet, and then just start the second one over, and you need 6 double crochets in a row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I told you need 6, but we're out of stitches, so in the chain 5 space you're going to put in 2 more double crochets to give you that 6 that you need. Then, so now that we have that in there, to advance to the next one you have to chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then start all over again. So then you just start in the first one, and you have to get your 6 in there, so you're gonna do that one plus the other 4, so it gives you 5. Put 1 in the chain 1 space, which gives you 6. Chain 2, skip the next space here and the next double crochet and put your 4 in, and then your extra 2 on the chain 5 space, and then chain 6 again and restart that all the way around. So please do that, and I'll see you at the end of this round, round number 8. So I'm coming up to the end of round number 8, and don't forget to chain 6 to join to the top of the chain 3. So now we're gonna go round number 9. We should bring back the diagram next, because the diagram we're gonna take a slightly different path, and then you can really start to see that it's really coming out quite nicely here. So let's begin to look at the diagram once again. So let's begin to look at round number 9. So we've just finished off 8. So right now we're here. Okay, so in order to start round number 9 we have to move over and slip stitch twice over so that we can start in the third one over, chain 3, and then continue along, and you're filling in this chain 2 space that you see here. So you're gonna just get in enough. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So there's 10 stitches there. You're going to finish off and not do the final 2, and then you're gonna chain 7 and then single crochet right around this chain 1 space, and then chain 7 again, and then begin the next one that you can see, and it's exactly the same thing. So what we're doing now is that we're dividing ourselves, because in round number 10 we start saying, okay, this here is gonna be a flat edge and this is gonna lead into the corner. If you're looking right now, put the video on hold and write down these numbers that you see. So you have 6, 7 and 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. So I don't know if I have too many 7s that I told you, but just fill those in with 7s. Here I want you to put 11 and 11, 9 and 9, and 7 and 7. So this helps you get track. So when I come back after we do round number 9, I'm going to have you just mark what side is the flat side so that it becomes easier. I found with myself, because it looks kind of similar to each other when you're doing it for the first time, that you get confused in exactly where you are. So without further ado, let's begin round number 9. So let's begin round number 9. We cannot start right where we are, so we have to slip stitch over 2 more times. So just going over to the next one, slip, and the next one, slip. So you should be on top of the 3rd stitch in from there. Then chain 3. So 1, 2, 3 counts as a double crochet. So just say that's number 1. So then you're gonna double crochet in the next one. So let's say that's 2, because it is 2, and 3 and 4. You have the chain 2 space now. Fill those in. So you have 5 and 6, because there's 2 chain spaces, so therefore there should be 2 double crochets there, and then continue along. So this is gonna be 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I told you there should be 10 stitches as per the diagram, and there is, and you should finish off so that you're not finishing off these 2 that you see. You're now going to chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and in the chain space here, single crochet right around the space. Don't go into any stitch, just go to a space, and then chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then just start the next one. So you're gonna start the 3rd one in. Okay, so just 1, 2, go to the 3rd, and you're going to do 10 in a row, and that includes your chain 1 space. So that's 1 and 2, and you don't really need to count if you're confident. 3 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And that 10 you should be leaving the last two, so chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. The chain space here, single crochet around the space, and then chain 7 again. So 1, 2, 3. This is going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Rotate around, and the next one it's going to be the third one in to start your double crochets and do your 10 across, and then do the same thing. So essentially you are turning each one of these chain spaces into 2 by the time you're finishing that, and you can clearly see that. So please do that all the way around for round number 9. So I'm coming all the way back around. I just got to chain my 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then just slip stitch to the top of the chain 3. And there you go. So you can see that this works out pretty good. So what I want to do is that I want to mark this one here, and then I want to skip the next one. So let me back out here, and I'm gonna get 4 stitch markers. So you can just use spare yarn to do this. I would strongly recommend that you're gonna do this. So let me just be right back. So on my diagram here is that the next round, round number 10, takes a slightly different path here, right here, and then right here it takes a different path. So what I want to do, where I've highlighted, I want to mark this one, this one, this one, and this one with the stitch marker. And so if you look at it, it's the one just before the slip stitch when you're going to start. So right where we are here, I want to mark the middle one here with the stitch marker, so that indicates to me that this is going to be a flat edge side. Okay, so just do that. And then I want to, and this just is gonna just be an indication of where I am in the pattern. I found with myself I can get confused easily. So the next one you're going to skip, and you're going to go to the next one here, and you're gonna place another stitch marker right into the side. And I want you to do the same with the one that is just right. There's only 8 sides, right? So I want you to do the next one. So skip the next one, come right down to the base, so it should be completely opposite down. I was in an airport doing this, and I found I got distracted pretty easily, but I think I could get distracted at home because I did one at home as well before I left on my trip. So you skip the next one and then go to this one, and then these are the 4 sides that will be your flat sides that when you're going to work on this project then for the remaining of it. So when we progress then to row number 10, there is going to be slightly different work on the ones that are marked. So let's begin round number 10. So I'm gonna take you through, this is a corner because it's not marked, and this is a flat side. So the flat sides are here, this is a corner. So I'll take you through one corner and one flat side. So let's begin. We're not in the right section then to begin. Like we did before, we have to move over to the third one. So right where we are, so 1, 2, and 3, I want you to slip 2 over so that you're sitting on top of the third one. Just like you see. Now I want you to chain 3, so 1, 2, and 3, and I want you then to double crochet. Let me just verify that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have a total of 7 double crochets. So this is one of them. So then double crochet in the next one. So let's count those out together. So this is 2, and next one's 3, 4, this is 5, and 6, and 7. So right where we have, I want to show you something. So right in the very beginning we skipped on 2 where we're sitting on the third one. In the end of this one here you're only just going to the second last one, so it's not an equal balance. This is what makes it veer off. It's awesome. So what we're going to do then is then for this one, this is your corner. So in the corner we want to chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And in the next chain space, okay, so there's 2 of them. So the next one I want you to put in 3 double crochet into the space. So 1, 2, and 3. Then I want you to chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and come to the other chain space and put in 3 double crochet. So 1, 2 and 3. Okay, and so if we started off 7 to get to this first grouping of 3 and we did 7, what do you think we have to do? We have to chain 7, right? So we have to 3, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So you can see that there will be 3 chain 7s to make up one corner. So then you're gonna start off in the third one of the double crochet and you're going to do 7 double crochets in a row. So it's the magic number 7 in this particular round. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and that should end up with the second last one, and it does. So the petals remain unaffected. It's the spaces in between the petals that make the difference. So now we're gonna go to a flat edge. So on the flat edge, okay, so on the flat edge we want to play within this single crochet that you got marked. So you're gonna chain 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, and you're going to go into the single crochet that's marked. Okay, it's the one right in the middle, and then chain 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So then you just continue over to the next petal and go to the third one in, and then that's where you're gonna start again, and that is your corner that you're gonna be working on that you started with. So you can actually kind of see the corners taking its shape. So this is your flat sides then, and then the other sides are your corners. So remember that your corner was chaining of 7, and then you do your 7 in a row, you chain 7, do your 3 double crochet, chain 7, 3 double crochet, chain 7, and then come to the third one over, do your 7, and then this one is your flat edge that I've just shown you. So please do that all the way around for round number 10. So I'm coming all the way back around. I've chained my 7 and I'm just going to slip stitch. Now this is the first time I've actually marked these edges, which was which, and I'm telling you my life is so much better. I wish I would have thought of that before. I was just trying to think how to teach this so that you weren't gonna get and do the same mistakes I did. So now we're gonna move on now to round number 11. So round number 11, guess what? We're not in the same space, so we need to move over 2 more. So 1 and 2. So you're on top of the third one, so chain up 3. Okay, counts as a double crochet, and then just crochet 2 more times. So 1 and 2. So you have a total of 3 in a row. And that's what it looks like. Okay, so this time there is 2 left over, and now we're gonna begin into the corner. So let me show you how to do a corner this time. So we're gonna chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and in the first chain space I want you to put in 3 double crochet. So we have 1 and 2 and 3, just like that, and then chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The next chain space is directly in the middle of the other 2. Do you see that? So what we're going to do in this space, there's a lot going on here, so we're gonna put in 3 double crochet first. So we have 1. Oh, I missed doing that, so let's try again. So we just have 1, 2 and 3, chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and in that exact same space I want you to put in 3 more double crochet. So we have 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so that is your very corner. Do you see that? It's all in the same space. So then you're gonna chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and then you're just gonna come to the next chain chain space, and I want you to double crochet 3 times into that. So So we have 1, 2 and 3. So then we're gonna chain 7 one more time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and then I want you to skip and go to the third one of the double crochet, and I want you to put in a double crochet there. So 1, 2 and 3. So I just want, before I move on, so that is your corner. So that's just take a look at the way that that looks. So you've gone from one space down to 2, then you went to 3, and then you went to 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But look where these double crochets are, right in the center. So just keep an eye on that. So now you've got your 3 in, and now we're gonna move along then to do it in the flat side. Just again really easy. So we're just chaining 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That was 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. It's a long chain in the same single crochet as before. Just single crochet again, and then 11 out again. So 1, 2. Once you have your 11, go to the third one in and start another corner. So if you need to review that corner again, just circle back on this video, and once you jumped over your 11 or your third one in, just put in your 3 and then start a corner again. So the corner is exactly the way you see it here. Okay, so it's really quite awesome. So you're gonna play, let's just recap that just verbally here. So you're gonna chain 7, double crochet 3 times into the space, chain 7, double crochet 3 times into the middle space, chain 7, double crochet 3 times again into the space, chain 7, double crochet 3 times into this space, chain 7, and then go to the third one over, and then this here will then take you over. So you'll be chaining 11 and single crocheting into the space, chain 11, and then go to the third one over, just like that. So please do that all the way around. You're gonna see that this thing is gonna get more and more square as you're working on it. So when you come all the way back around, your last one is a chain 11, and then you are going to stop here and just attach to the top, and you're going to fasten off, because the next time we want to start off right in the corner. So use your scissors and weave in your loose ends. So just trim your yarn, and we have one more round to do, and then that's it. So on the diagram it looks so confusing, but I have to tell you that I think once you understand where the pattern is very similar to it, you realize that it's not hard to follow at all. So once we begin the next round, you'll see that. So I want to take you back to the diagram. I want to show you on what you can do to be able to make it easier for yourself, and really it's been designed really well, so I think it's awesome. So just weave in your ends, and then let's begin to look at the diagram next. So here's the diagram, and what we've done is that we've been following it up like this, but we fastened off at this particular point, and now we're gonna start off in a corner, and we're gonna start off and we're gonna chain 1 and put 1 single crochet in and a half double crochet. Now I was doing this in an airport, and I wish I would have had a highlighter, because I was trying to really understand this pattern, but it's really hard to do it if you don't, if you're distracted, and B, if you're not really understanding the repeat. So what I figured out is that the designer, every time there's a double crochet below, there's a double crochet over. So whenever you're going into a double crochet, it always be a double crochet. Do you see that? So you'll notice that is gonna happen. So you're pretty confident that you're just gonna put in 3 double crochets in a row, because that's what's underneath. Now other than the corners, they'll have 3 single crochets, and the neat thing about it is that when you go in these chains, the easiest way to describe it is that when you're in a chain, you'll do a half double crochet, you'll do a single, and then a half. Do you see that? So what's gonna happen is that that's kind of like the commonality of it, and the difference between this and this is that there's more single crochets in between. Big deal, right? So you can handle that. So every time the first chain space, it's a half, a single, and a half, and then you see that there's double crochets, so these must be double, and then in the next space here there is a half, a single, and a half. So I put that there's 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and I've just assumed that if you're going into the chain, the half double crochet must enter into the chain first, then must exit out of the chain. So whatever happens in the middle, so there's 1 single crochet. The first big 11 space here that you see is that there's gonna be 4 single crochets in a row. So there's obviously gonna be a half that starts it, a half that finishes it, there's a double that's right in the middle, and then a half starts it, and then this time there will be 5 and then a half will finish it, and then you're back into the double crochets because you see it below. And then this time half, 1 and half. And so you're gonna continue that same idea going all the way around. So if you want to highlight that so that when you're following it all the way around, it's just easier. But really it's not a hard pattern to be able to follow. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna take you through one side and I'll take it to the other and tell you to just reverse the video back if you need to. So the only difference is that we're gonna start off in a partial corner, but I'll explain that to you when we get to the end here so that you can do that all the way around. So let's do the final round. Round number, I believe it's 12. So let's begin number 12. So let's begin number 12. I'm gonna do one complete side with you. So I'm just gonna start off with the slip knot and I'm gonna put that onto my hook. And I'm gonna come into the one right in the very corner. So just look for it. There's 2 into the same space and the one in the middle is the one you want to play into. And I want you to just join this with the slip stitch. So just wrap it around and pull through. Chain 1 and I want you to do 1 single crochet in here. So technically the corners are 1/2 double crochet, 3 single crochets in 1/2, but we're starting off in just a corner. Okay, so right into just a partial of it. So the next one will be a 1/2 double crochet and then we advance. So what did I tell you? So if it's a double crochet below, that means it must be a double crochet above, and there's gonna be 3 of those. So 1, 2 and 3. And then we're into another space. So it's a big space, but it's gonna compress itself. So you want to do a 1/2 double crochet, a single, and a 1/2 double crochet, and then advance. So if that's a double crochet below, it's gonna be a double crochet over into each one of them. There's 3 of them. So 1, 2 and 3. So the next chain 7 space that we're gonna work with, so you can see that it's not this space, so it's pretty obvious. So it's gonna be leading into it with a 1/2 double crochet, a single, and a 1/2 double crochet, all within that space. So these are doubles, so that must mean that these must stay double above it. 1, 2 and 3. So this is the only part that is not the same on either side. So the first time that you're gonna do the first chain here is that you're gonna start off with a 1/2 and then there will be 4 single crochets in a row. So just go right around the chain. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then do a 1/2 double crochet, and then into this single crochet I want you to put in a double crochet. That's the very middle. So this large chain 11 gap on the other side is gonna be starting off with a 1/2, and then this time it's 5 single crochets. So this side of the center line is always the same. So there's 4 singles on this side, 5 on this side. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that was 5. And so then you're gonna finish it off with a 1/2 double crochet and then keep on moving. So 1/2 and then you just move. So once the 1/2's in, this one here, there's doubles below, so that means that there's doubles above. So 1 into each. And then you got another space. So the space to start is gonna be a 1/2. And this is a small one, so a 1/2, a single, and a 1/2. That's it. Then you see double crochets again, so you're gonna put in double crochets above, and then you end up with another chain space. So you're not in the corner yet, so you have another chain space. So you're gonna do a 1/2, a single, and a 1/2. And now you're in the corner space. So in the corner spaces, what you're always gonna end up with is a 1/2 double crochet, and then you're gonna do 3 singles in a row. So 1, 2, 3, and then a 1/2. and then begin again. So what you can just do then is that you can just go back to the video where I start off with the double crochets again on this side when you had it back over here. So it's really quite an easy pattern to be able to maintain, and so just go all the way around, and then that'll conclude off your square. So I'll meet you at the end of the round to make sure that you finish it off properly, because we started with just doing a partial of a corner. So let's meet you back there in just a moment. So I'm just finishing up my last section here before I've just got all the way around, and I've got my 3 double crochets because that was what was below, and I'm now on the corner. So when we started we did 1 single crochet and then a half. So when we start our corner, this is the ending corner, it's a half double crochet, and then there'll be 2 single crochets in a row. So 1 and 2, and then join it to the third one, which gives you your 3 in a row, and then that's it. You're gonna fasten this off. Let me just show you how to fasten this off so that you have no yarn tails hanging out. So just pull through, grab your darning needle, you're gonna need it anyway because you gotta put these together, and what you want to do is that glide it through the work 3 times. So this is a really beautiful yarn, just like you see. You could leave a long yarn strand on too, just so that you can use it to sew to its neighbor if you wanted to. So that's something that you'll have to make up your mind with. So if you go back and forth a total of 3 times, then you're good to go. Now if you were burying over the existing one that I did, like right in the beginning, then you should be able to trim that off. If you weren't, you'll just use a darning needle. So at this point you're gonna notice it kind of looks like out of shape, so let's just back out the camera here, and what you see here, so you want to give it some tugs. Let the stitches just naturally fall where they're supposed to. This here was a starting strand. Remember that we finished that off, so I buried that as I went around. You as an intermediate crocheter probably would have done the same thing without me having to tell you that. So you can just stretch everything out, and once you start attaching this to the neighbor, everything will balance out. And then once you attach it, just whip stitch it with the neighbor. So use the blue and attach it to your neighbor. So I have other colors here on the side, so I could just attach it to the neighbor. Just use either one of the colors, so I could use green or blue, doesn't matter, and just whip stitch along the edge. Okay, so you can see I gotta block it, and so I just gotta whip stitch along the edge and put it all together, and then when you're satisfied, the final border around is just 1 single crochet in each of the stitches, going all the way around, and then in the corners there's 3 single crochets to be able to do the turn. So it's actually really neat, and then I would wet block it, let it dry laying down, and then you're good to go, and you can remove it, these stitch markers at the same time. So this is how you do the pinwheel. This is a really beautiful pattern. I think it's one of the best I've seen in a long time, and it's only best because I like the way it looks. I think it's awesome. So it's fun to use the chunky and the colorful yarns, but sometimes it's nice to get back to the basics as well. So until next time, it's Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as my friends over at Yarnspirations.com. Have a good one. We'll see you again real soon. Bye bye.